So, MSNBC centrist hack Dr. Jason Johnson made a ridiculous tweet where he compares Bernie Sanders to Michael Bloomberg and says they are both oligarchs among people like Tyler Perry, George Soros, Bob Johnson, Bernie Sanders, Bill Gates, Mitt Romney, Donald Trump, Papa John, Mark Cuban, Oprah, Jay-Z. Yes, all of these people and more can be legitimately described as oligarchs, but outside of a scholarly discussion, I wouldn't bother. I mean, Bernie Sanders' net worth is around $2 million. He didn't get that money until he was like 70 years old from writing a book. He's always been committing to fighting to protect working class interests, to make sure the working people of the United States get a fair shot, get a fair shake at the so called American dream, and have a decent life for themselves. And he considers himself a democratic socialist. What about any of that speaks to being an oligarch? As opposed to Michael Bloomberg, a literal billionaire who bought his way into the Democratic primary by using hundreds of millions of dollars of his wealth on TV ad buys to artificially prop up his support. Bernie Sanders couldn't buy fucking one ad with his wealth. He's got $2 million. Michael Bloomberg spent over 100 million already on TV ad buys. Bernie Sanders hasn't used any of that $2 million or so of his wealth on his campaign. It's all been funded by the people. Michael Bloomberg is funding his own campaign because he does not have that grassroots support, because he is an oligarch, and people see that. People really thought Bernie Sanders was an oligarch and was going to represent those interests. Do you think he would have the most support of any candidate in presidential history at this point in terms of individual contributions, all a huge amount of them, small dollar, huge grassroots support, very diverse working class coalition, and it's just ridiculous. But again, these are the type of hacks that mainstream media has on, because they're willing to just say totally ridiculous stuff in order to try to undermine Bernie Sanders at all costs, even if there's no factual base for it, and the claims that they make are completely and utterly ridiculous. And this was the same Jason Johnson that had went on MSNBC and was getting upset at Nina Turner for correctly calling out Michael Bloomberg as being an oligarch. I mean, but Jesus Christ, I mean, it's like so frustrating. That's why I don't consume mainstream media. The only time I do is to call it out and criticize it when they just are completely and utterly ridiculous. And so Mehdi Hassan of The Intercept and Al Jazeera, Bernie Sanders is an oligarch, ridiculous, beyond ridiculous. And the others literally just got out of class. Only a few of my students knew what an oligarch was, and before you say something snide about them, which will get you blocked, most Americans don't know the term, which was my point from beginning about bad messaging in pursuit of hot takes. And then I really love Chance the Rapper. He's just he has some really good takes, and this is one of them. You're the dumbest fucking corporate neoliberal hack I've ever heard. No wonder they keep putting you on television to make shit about Bernie. Delete your account. Dr. Jason Johnson is the Ben Carson of the Democratic Party. And again, it's not, like Noam Chomsky points out, there's not some nefarious process in order to only hire, neoliberal hacks onto MSNBC, CNN, Fox, whatever outlet it may be, because they all, parrot that same message. It's people that get to those positions are going to be already ready and willing to say those things to prop up, neoliberal centrism, those type of policies and politicians. And if you're a progressive populist on the left, you're just not going to be able to get into those positions of power and influence, because once they see that you are representative of an ideology that's a threat to their corporate interest and their corporate beneficiaries, they're going to cut you off. That's why Sam Cedar is sometimes on Chris Hayes' show, but it's usually late at night. And then here, Samuel D. Finkelstein with the net worth, Mike Bloomberg 60 billion, Tyler Perry 600 million, George Soros 8.3 billion, Bob Johnson, I'm not sure who that is, but he has $1 billion, Bernie Sanders 2 million, Bill Gates 110 billion, Mitt Romney 250 million, Donald Trump 2.5 billion allegedly, Papa John 500 million, Mark Cuban 4.1 billion, Oprah 3.5 billion, Jay-Z 1 billion. Yes, all. Oh my goodness. One of these things is not like the other. Indeed, a little bit of an outlier there. Everybody else has substantially more zeros next to their name, and I don't have any qualms about how Bernie Sanders earned that $2 million. He wrote a best-selling book. What's wrong with people reading? It's a good thing. What's wrong with people learning about Bernie Sanders? Also a good thing. Well, they all have dollar signs, so they're all the same, I guess. And then David Doe, the Irrational National, also has really good and insightful, informative YouTube channel. I honestly feel bad for your students. Same, I just posted this above. Let's see. Bro, do you Google rich guys? I agree on Papa John. Dude, are you high? Laughing my fucking ass off. Way to suck up to power because you probably want to work for Bloomberg News. Let it go for fuck's sake before you embarrass yourself any further. I mean, at least he's definitely getting trolled pretty hard here in the comments. Rightfully so, to say that Bernie Sanders is a fucking oligarch, comparing him to Bill Gates and Michael Bloomberg is just insane on its face. He has $2 million. He got that $2 million from writing a best-selling book when he was like in his 70s. He's always fought for working class values, for working people. Michael Bloomberg and these other people, you can't say the same thing. You keep using that word. Like in the, Princess Diaries, you keep using that word, but I don't know if you know what it means exactly. A ruler in an oligarchy, especially in Russia, a very rich business leader with a great deal of political influence, especially in Russia. There you go, exactly. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means. That's a nice give. Your continued existence disproves the concept of meritocracy. And there's the Majority Report, also really good YouTube channel. Just take the L, dude. Indeed. Sit down, man. You're just making a fool of yourself at this point. But everybody's having fun with it. And you're the shittiest take out. Oh, man. One of the things is not like the others. Oh, man. And then, yeah, he doesn't look like he's going to respond anymore, because how can you defend that? Such a horrible, nonsensical take, and people are right to shit all over it, and they did a pretty good job. So, but again, these are the type of freaking neoliberal centrist hacks that you're going to hear parodying this type of nonsense on these mainstream news channels. That's why people have to go to YouTube and other alternative forms of media and independent media to actually get a fair take on these issues and on candidates and politics, world news, events, whatever it is. Because you go to MSNBC and you freaking have jokers like Jason Johnson saying that Bernie Sanders is an oligarch. It's like, what the fuck? So those are my thoughts. Share yours in the comment sections down below. Peace. Much love.